Okay, so, some books and reading recommendations. Same shit I always do. I don't know why I do the intro like that. Alright, so this first one actually is actually in pretty damn good condition. Compared to that. Maybe that Iron Man is also a Marvel masterwork. And this one finally came in as the right one, and it's probably not going to be worth it because it's a 60s book. But I have the third volume, so I want to get the first two, and I have the first two, at least I think they do, of X-Men, the original Marvel years. The way back in the day ones. I remember, like, way back in the day ones. I remember, like, the third volume, the first few issues, but I keep forgetting that it's probably because it was later on in the, in the, series. Like how I like the later Spider-Mans were the earlier Spider-Mans because they got the swing of things. And this is the first 10 issues of X-Men. They're going to have a lot of dialogue. It's taking an hour to read each book. I'm going to want to murder myself. And this one seems pretty thin. This is Scalped Volume 3. And I wonder if they just didn't do 12 issues this time. Or if it's just like a different, like, paper quality. 25 to 34. So no, it's still 12, right? No, it's not. It's like 10. They decided not to do 12 again. Hellblazer, volume 8, 9, I don't know. Rake at the Gates of Hell. I think it's volume 8. Yeah, it's volume 8. I lose track. I know it's the right volume, obviously, but it's just like they don't show it right here. Actually, they do. Volume 8, I was right. I'm sorry, I'm kind of distracted. But not, like, to the point where I can't do the video, obviously. Just, like... Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, Secrets and Rumors. This is the Tom Taylor series everyone seems to hate. But I want to see it... I just want to read it. Like, when they say a book is bad, I'm like, I want to see how bad. I'm never going to buy it myself, like, unless it's, like, super cheap. But it was at the library. They have both volumes. Last time I checked, they didn't. I don't know what happened. I really think that their search engine is pretty not lackluster, but like flawed. So, and they always had volumes 1 and 2. It's just the way I checked it. They were like, no, only have volume 1. Captain America Volume 2 by Rick Remender. I like the first volume enough, so I was like, yeah, I'll get volume 2. I'm sure I'll realize exactly what it is that people don't like about his run. And I don't know what exactly it is. It's Goodreads, Goodreads. But I don't think Goodreads has ever rated something super low that I actually liked. If they rated something low, it meant a lot of people didn't like it. Of course, I had books that, like, they rate low and I actually liked. But it's one of those things where everyone else didn't like it as much. And I just had, like, different opinion about it. And then this final one, which I didn't think would come in, but this is the Many Deaths of Batman. When the other Batman one came in, that the greatest stories, I was like, hey, I wonder if they have this one. And they did. They just had to put it in twice. Oh, nice. There's no there's a table of contents, I think. Or is there not? Yeah, there is. But there's no covers. That's really been pissing me off with that other Batman one. It's just like, I don't get it why they don't do that. Like, for these older volumes, I understand why they don't do it, because they're older and they just didn't know if they're going to put covers or not. But it's just like, to me, like, why wouldn't you do that? I don't know. Like, for newer ones, like, there's one from, like, move that around. There's one from, let's take this out. There's one from, like, 2000 whatever that doesn't have the covers there. And even then, like, I don't care if it's old, like, why didn't you put the covers there? Like, don't you want to look at the covers, the original covers to the book? It's just weird to me. Alright. Suicide Squad, that was a John Ostrander book. I noticed that there was a lot of similarities to the Suicide Squad movie. The new one, not the old one. The James Gunn one. And it was kind of funny because I was like, oh yeah, I remember that character from like, from the movie. Oh yeah, I remember that like situation, like that same kind of like the plot elements were very similar. And I knew it's because John Ostrander was James Gunn's main inspiration for the movie. So it was kind of interesting to see that. And it's mostly good. I have somewhat mixed feelings about the book. I liked it the most issues, but some issues were just kind of like lot slower, a lot more dialogue. Nothing really happened. But other issues, a lot of shit happened. It was like, wow, this is so damn good, surprisingly. So it's a very mixed bag. You kind of have to know that it's not gonna be consistently good. It's just gonna be like some issues are gonna be slower than others, and yeah. Suffice to say, I will be waiting a little bit, and I don't know if they have the second volume even. I don't even know if they have the second volume, but I will be waiting a little bit for to get before I get volume 2. Maybe just like a week, not too long. Chew, cannot believe that series is over. There is a spin-off series. I don't know if it takes place after the events of this book or in between or whatever. Mild spoilers. They do a time skip. So I wonder if they fill in the gaps with the other characters. It's spin-off characters. It's because it's spin-off. It's not following the same characters as Chew did. It's following his daughter. So I wonder if it's going to be following her, like, in between the time jump or whatever. Or if it's just going to be, like, her as an adult, maybe. I don't know. But I may pick it up. It's just for books like that, I really wish they had it at the library. But they don't. It's just too new. Volume 2 hasn't even come out yet. Fantastic Four by Matt Fraction. I really wish, because I don't think I showed the back of it, but I really wish I'd taken a picture of the She-Thing costume, because it looks terrible. The artwork in this book is awful. The writing in this book is awful. Everything about this book was terrible. And I was like, this is Matt Fraction, really? Like, he wrote Hawkeye, Sex Criminals, so many other damn good books. And then he writes Fantastic Four, and he just, like, does not know what to do with it. I think this is after he wrote Hawkeye. And maybe right before he wrote Sex Criminals. It was just so surprising to me that he just turns out crap for Fantastic Four. I was like, really? I guess I'll probably be saying the same thing for Stan Lee's X-Men, but that's Silver Age. They have that excuse. This just came out not too long ago. It was 2012. That was, what, like, 9 years ago? It wasn't that long ago. Like, not, like, compared to, like, you know, the early 2000s, and even then, you know. It was very bizarre to me that they just turned out that there's so much bad comedy, too. Like, they kept saying this thing called, like, they kept, like, acting like dummies was a really bad word. They kept saying that it's just, like, that's the worst insult you could call someone. It was like, is this a kid's book? Like, it's T+, meaning teenagers and up, so you can say hell and damn, you can say dumbasses, you wouldn't get 1,000 controversies about it, because you'd say, hey, it's T+, meaning PG-13, basically. I don't know, it's just, and it was like, they kept saying that word, like, dummies, say dummies, and it was like, are you for kids? Did you accidentally, I don't know, I honestly would not be too far off if there was, like, a whole thing with, where they were, where Matt Fraction thought he was writing for children. I mean, yeah, a kid could pick up a Fantastic Four book, but it's rated T+. You can at least say dumbasses, you know, you don't have to, and even, like, they just kept saying dummies. That was the only insult they had, and it was adults talking to other adults, so it's, like, so weird. It was like, okay. Like, you can say idiots, you can say, like, it's just always dummies. It was so weird. Just mind-boggling to me. Everything about that book was bad. The plot was bad. It was really slow at times. I thought one issue was a double issue, and it was 22 pages, the same as any regular-ass comic book, and I feel like it was 44 pages. So yeah, and I'm glad they only had one volume of that series. It wasn't terrible. Some issues were better than others, but mostly it was just awful. And so much, like, bad. Everything about it was bad. The artwork was terrible, the dialogue was terrible, the plotting was terrible. And it comes from Matt Fraction, too. The artwork wasn't that bad, it's just, like, sometimes it was, like, it just did not fit the characters at all. The Deadpool Illustrated, that was pretty good. It wasn't as good as Kills the Marvel Universe. I think it's because he was just killing, like, classic literature characters. So I don't have as much of attachment as I had to Marvel characters. So it wasn't as much of a shock. And I was like, oh my god, he's fighting this character. Because he, like, you know, one of them is, like, about to fight, like, Punisher. And, like, oh my god, that's gonna be, like, brutal. you know, and in this one he fights Moby Dick, Sherlock Holmes. No, he doesn't fight Sherlock Holmes. Like all these classic literature characters. It was still pretty good for what it was. I thought I'd hate it a lot more. I thought they focused too much on the like the Moby Dick shit and like the other shit, you know. Batgirl, the artwork is pretty bad. I'm starting to really notice the bad artwork in Batgirl. The action is where I felt like it got bad in the first volume. This is not going to be my favorite Batgirl series at all. I still like Gail Simone's run, which is probably saying a lot about how I feel about the character, because no one seems to like Gail Simone's run. It seems to be a very controversial run. I like it. Like, I liked that it was actually had stakes. And this one kind of does. It's very forgettable, honestly. It was still, it wasn't like an agony reading it. It wasn't like I was reading, like with Motor Crush. Same creative team. That's why I'm comparing them to. It wasn't painful to read. It wasn't like, I got Batgirl to read next. I read them in order. I stacked them. I'm like, okay, first I got X-Men, then I'll read Scalp, you know. And then when Batgirl showed up, it wasn't like, oh my god, I gotta read this one next. No. It was okay. It's bland Batgirl. Bland superhero fare. But it wasn't too bland to where I was like, I never want to read a Batgirl comic ever again. Is this how basic it's going to be now, from now on? No, it was nothing like that. It was just like, it's good. Good enough. If I had bought the trade at full price, I'd be pretty pissed off. But the only thing I lost was time, and it wasn't even like a time waster at all. It was just standard superhero fare. There was no in-your-face politics. I'm sure if I picked apart every single scene, I could find some parts. She has a roommate who has like the SJW haircut. She has an Asian trans friend. There's a lot of stuff like that. But I was watching your boy Zach's video on it, and he said that like a lot of the things that they were doing was very controversial in Gail Simone's run, even to the audience she was writing for. So it's controversial to people like your boy Zach, because he notices all the SJW crap in it. But even the SJW people hated it because they're just like so jaded from what is normal in comic books. So when the trans woman came out and Batgirl was so surprised, they were acting like it was a bad thing to be surprised. Yeah, that's how bad these people are. They think that that's a bad thing. Like, no. You don't always know. Yeah, we're people. We make mistakes. Okay, so Hellblazer was next. Ironic that I just got a new Hellblazer book. I finished that pretty quickly, actually. I would have finished it by Tuesday. I thought I had thought I had more than 2 issues left. I didn't. I had 2 issues left. I was like, shoot. Actually, no, I had 1 issue left. That's right, too. I had 1 issue left. Thought I had maybe 4, and I had like 1. I was like, oh, whoops. I just never took into account, I guess. That was good. It's really getting good. It's getting to like what's so great about this series is that it's very similar in like tone to Preacher, but it's also by Garth Ennis and Steve Dillon, but it's nothing like that at all. I'm just gonna check to make sure to see. Is it all by Garth Ennis? Yeah, it's all by Garth Ennis, but not all of it's not all of it's drawn by Steve Dillon. But look, they're a powerhouse couple. I was very dismayed to find out. I was very upset to find out that Steve Dillon had died. It was kind of like this. I was like, wow. So I just, you know, I don't really look up these characters. I don't really look up these creators to see if they're still alive. It's like I should have known that though. I don't know. But yeah, they're like a powerhouse couple. So when they create, they create. So everything, pretty much, for the most part, was consistently good. There were some issues that were slower than others, but most of it was just, like, out of this world. So as I was saying, it's different from Preacher, even though it's the same tone. Like, it could not be any more different from Preacher, which I really enjoy. Because sometimes, like, when they have a similar tone, they just make it like Preacher. But this is nothing like Preacher. It's his own thing, which is nice. And he doesn't ruin anything. Like, he just knocked it out of the park again. New Avengers was good. They don't have Volume 7, they have Volume 8. I might double check to see what Volume 7 is called and like maybe like copy paste it onto the catalog. I'll probably find it. Because like I said, their catalog is very flawed. I think they need to kind of like I don't know what they need to do. It could, because it could be just a computer that they can't like go into, and change it. It's like how Amazon, you can and they can like change the search engine, Of course, the higher ups could. We don't know how to. It's not too bad. Like I know the tricks now. There's a few different tricks for series. Like, I would never have finished Chew if it wasn't for me knowing how to write it down, how to write down the author's name and then Chew, or just the author's name, whatever. And I finally found the rest of that series. So I know what to do now. But even my tricks, it wasn't showing up with Volume 7. So I don't know I don't know what I'm gonna have to do. That's right, one of them was the complete collection, so they don't have it. So I know what, it's the series I'm not gonna keep reading, even because I don't have it. I kind of feel like it's because it's one that I liked enough, but not enough to buy it myself. It's just like, I got it for free. Hell yeah. And it's also a pretty good book. Double hell yeah. And now it's gonna be like, do I really want to buy the series myself? Do I really want to sit through the slower issues? Because I'm gonna feel like I just wasted my money with the slower issues. So all in all, I like that series. I do recommend that series. And finally, Storm. Now this one, I liked and I didn't like. My main complaint with this book, with this comic, is that John Paul Dickey, I don't remember his name, I remember his last, it was Eric Jerome Dickey, that's what his name was. Eric Jerome Dickey is writing this like a novel. He's not writing this like a comic book. Of course, they have the artwork, and sometimes they have, like, not splash pages, but splash panels. When it's just, like, there's no dialogue. I call them splash panels, because it's splash pages like that. No dialogue, just, like, a big picture. Anyways, just pictures. Anyways, so it was a lot of dialogue. It was a lot of, I feel like this guy is coming after me. Inside my bones, I feel the fear. It's like a lot of descriptive dialogue, which you would put into an actual novel, because you don't have pictures to help you with that. And it was a lot more than that. And sometimes the issues were felt a lot longer. And they were. Some were like that. I think the average page count was 25, when usually it's 22, it's like 20 to 22 pages for an average comic book. And this was like nearing, like one of them was 34 pages. So, it definitely felt a lot longer. But I liked it. And it was a good book. It's an origin story for Storm. And it wasn't a whole lot of it that was new. Of course, they had new characters. But it wasn't like the untold story of Storm's past. Find out this thing that's gonna become canon. It's just new characters, new setting. It was like some new details, but actually I never knew she was the thief. But I think it's always been part of her backstory. So yeah, all in all, I think it was a good. So let's go through them again, and then I'll do the rating. Suicide Squad, I give like a 7.5 out of 10. Maybe an 8, closer to an 8 than a 7 for Suicide Squad. For the book. The movie, I give like a 9 out of 10. That was such a damn good movie. I'm definitely buying that on Blu-ray. I already reviewed the movie last time. I keep stuttering. Chew, I give like a 9.5 out of 10. It's a fantastic series. If you've not read that series, do yourself a favor and read it. It's worth every penny if you have to purchase it. The only reason why I don't want to purchase the spin-off series is because I feel like if I wait long enough, it'll be available at the library. But I don't want to wait too long and forget everything that happened in Chew, CHEW. The spin-off is CHU Chew, because that's their last name. That's their last name. FF, I give like a 1 out of 10. No, I wouldn't give it a 1 out of 10, because I like some of it, so I give like a 2 out of 10, maybe 2.5. Just awful. Everything about it I hated. But there was some of it I liked. Maybe 1.5, honestly. Yeah, 1.5 out of 10. Deadpool, I give like a 7 out of 10. 10.5 out of 10. It's good. Batgirl, I give like a 6 out of 10. Maybe a 5.5. Very forgettable. But still enjoyable. And enough. Hellblazer, I give like a 9 out of 10. New Avengers, an 8. And Storm, a solid 7. So a good package, good amount of books. And even like Fantastic Four wasn't insultingly terrible. It wasn't like I was like, it wasn't like it was no politics in it. So if anything, compared to what we get now, it's really good. No, it's not though. So I'm gonna try and I gotta do the August haul next, but then come Friday, and I should be able to. She said yes, but I'll be going to the mall to finally play catch up on those books, and then I'll get a comic haul on Friday. The best thing about the comic haul, even though there still is a lot of books, some got delayed, so it's not as much as I thought it would be. And what was funny is that I just checked it yesterday, I think, and they were still saying, no, this book's coming out this week, and DC's solicitation said otherwise. Hell, there's something coming, no, something is, oh, it was last week, that's right too, it was last week, it wasn't this week, but something that's coming to children, I know is coming in, because I checked out on Amazon, that's right too, and now also, it was last week. Yeah, that's it. Wow, 20 minutes.